Good evening, Randomania 3, and welcome to week 4 of the Final Fantasy IV Free Enterprise Lali-Ho League Tournament. I'm Nightdew. With me tonight is Possum Orpheus. How are you doing tonight?
Oh, I am doing great, Nightdew. I am excited for this fantastic race between these two wonderful runners, both at 2-1 in the tournament. And I'm excited to be able to do comms with you, my friend.
Absolutely. We've been talking a lot in campfire races here recently, but yeah, definitely wonderful. I've actually been wanting to do this too. But here we are, again, 2-1 match against apexcorvid and leggystarscream. And right now we're looking at a Kane start. We need to find a bard and we need to find an eyeball here. So not exactly the character builder everybody's really hoping for, but maybe the seed will still provide.
Yeah, I mean, there's always surprises. I'm surprised at the layout, the background going on, this kind of retro look. I'm really into it and digging it. I'm digging Leggy's character names, or lack thereof. Uh, Digging the get Edward part because I've seen bards hiding in odd places lately. You think, oh hey, it's just an Edward. We can get him. If we have a spoon, we'll keep him. If we don't, we'll yeet him. Well, bards seem to get lost in the wild a lot, and they really like to hide. It's kind of one of their big abilities.
Indeed, it is, and unfortunately, hiding usually takes them to weird places, behind packages, inside castles, inside large world-destroying giants.
Yes, inside giants indeed. Everyone loves a bard in the giant. Everyone also loves a plague at, I don't know, back attack on ordeals, maybe?
Oh, with the backwards numbers and the fact that your count's usually down to somewhere between 5 and 6 before you get your first action. Yeah, we love that, right?
I mean, we love it. As a runner, not so much. But
Unfortunately, it looks like the bad taste has unfortunately disappeared a little bit. I was kind of looking forward to having that the entire seed, actually.
yeah, I was getting used to it. It wasn't that bad, honestly. I thought it was pretty cool. It reminded me a little of getting plague, the fact that I was looking for eyeballs to help me get through it. But here we go. We have this Cane start. We have a Cecil. I think this is French vanilla, would you say?
It is French vanilla. It's reversed. Here's a pass to go along with some Baron guards or the Kaipo guards, one of the two at least. But we're off, and we have a uh, backwards vanilla party.
Yeah, I'm excited about that pass. It means that our runners can go fight the final boss. 35 seconds into the race. No, they can't do that. Okay. Fast forward 90 minutes. They'll get there eventually. The Kane start in particular on this flag set, I adore. Kane with that strength ring with the dwarf axe can carry the overworld for you. Cecil has a 1 in 3 shot at coming with a black sword. How long do you think before our runners check to see equipment here for these two characters?
Fairly quickly. Now I know personally, I'm trying to kind of get a little bit into the whole. I try to do a little bit more in terms of trying to be diligent with my menuing here. Usually I check it before I enter like my first major dungeon or anything like that. It doesn't look like either have yet. You're guaranteed to have the Dwarf Axe there, but that Deathbringer, or the Black Sword as it was called earlier, a really nice Stardust Rod already in the back of the Watery Pass as well. Great if we have any Black Mage show up.
That dancing dagger is huge as well. One of the few things that's going to be better than the actual dwarf axe itself can just be used as an item with Kane, and he will deal somewhere between 300 and 400 damage normally. There's another tier 6 item in Watery Pass, Artemis arrows. Also, there was a ninja hat in there. Watery Pass loaded tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. And the question is, depending on what you get here, especially with the Cecil immediately in your party, Protectoring Assassin Dagger also in the basement of Damsian, so that's not bad either. But the question is, here, with Cecil already preloaded in your party, there's the Black Sword in front of Watery Pass, as I keep getting it. But how quickly do you try to force that Mount Ordeals play?
Well, now, immediately, uh, rush that black sword, rush with that dancing dagger. You might be able to clear with just these two characters. There's a blizzard spear to go with it. Like, this is an extraordinary start for these two characters.
Catclaw for future Yong's, Dragoon Helmet for elemental resistances. Um, yeah, this is proving to be a wildly. I mean, did most of the watery pass here and is getting very rewarded for it.
Yeah.
But even then, both of them actually did pick up Blizzard Lance because the Blizzard Lance was also in the top of Damascene Castle there. So both of them have that. Leggy only finds a Shadow Sword on Cecil. That's a little unfortunate there.
Yeah, it's not too bad though. And speaking of Dark Knights hanging out in waterfalls, there's DKC threatening Dark Knight Cecil. One of which has a black sword, the other's just going to cast a couple waves, which is appropriate for being in that waterfall. But moving on, since it's not an objective, and it is a fairly long fight, Leggy says no thanks. We'll seek greener pastures or slightly rockier mountains in this case.
Yeah, no thanks. Glad you're not in the King Queen slot, just in case we have to run into the hook route. And speaking of absolutely great characters to find early, here's Sid.
Yeah, this is a beautiful start. That gives us Dupe Sid, I believe. That gives us a Cecil and a Kane. If you wanted a Zerk party, you have one.
Now, I mean, actually, Zerking is still up in the air, but yeah, we don't need that just yet, do we?
Well, it sounds like the kitty does, because that's
Kitty
an
is
adorable
definitely
cat.
wanting some Bacchus wine here.
This Mylon and Friends fight, not too bad to find up here. It's a little annoying just time-wise, but that Kane jumping for almost 600, that's going to be about 80% of Mylon proper's health here. So very quickly going to be in and out of this fight.
Yeah, about the only thing I didn't see Apex get was an actual attacking J item. I may have missed it there, but again, completely loaded. Should have no problem with this fight whatsoever. Very happy to see the Sid. And I pretty much agree with you. This party, with everything Apex has, I'm rushing that mountain. I want a paladin right now.
Yeah, I would definitely be wanting a paladin. The other interesting thing you can do with this party, or just in general this fight, if you jump with Kane and just target Mylon and then have the other characters just go ahead and use Cure 2s, I believe that's what the vanilla speedrun does as well, where you use Cure 2 on the friends and you just blow up Mylon proper.
That sounds fairly right there.
But Leggy through. Leggy now has her Sid with no worries. And likely Antlion will be next. That would be standard routing. And looks like that is where Leggy is headed as well.
Yeah, standard routing, especially unless I have something that inflicts casualties upon Hobbs, which does happen from time to time. But no need for that free heal right now. Let's just go see. Leggy gonna pick up more than a few things in Antlion, it looks like here. Might be full looting, actually.
Yeah, I can't say I blame Leggy. Part of this is because, I mean, last time I did comms for one of Leggy's races, it was one of the more dumpster fiery seeds that I think Leggy has had to run on this flag set. So if I am a curse to Leggy on comms, I don't blame them for a little extra looting at all. Based on how that prior experience went. I know it's different seed rollers and such, but there's always superstitions out there.
Yeah, and I don't blame. Didn't hit anything in the watery pass as well, so totally get it. Gets to pick up at the very least ice armor, dragoon gauntlets there. Not terrible. I love at least, especially with these three characters in particular, having at least one piece of dragoon armor sitting on all of them at any part in time. Just because of the primary three elements resist, it goes a long way.
I'm actually most excited about the Blizzard pickup there, because with Sid's enormous health pool early on, and Cecil as well once he turns into a paladin. That blizzard is going to be a wall penetrating source of AoE for a party that has no source of AoE otherwise. So that was the item I've seen so far out of Antline I'm most excited for.
Yeah, especially finding something ice weak. Hi, Ruby, wherever you are. But yeah, that's again large health pools of this party, and an Octo that really doesn't want to be in the spot.
Yeah, well, I mean, Cecil displaced Octomam coming down from Ordeals, so Octomam displaced Antlion. So I'll be curious where Antlion is now.
Where does the chain of nature take the Octoman or the Antlion? Yeah, that's actually an interesting one. Yes.
But very quickly, Leggy through the fight. Apex in the back row with their Dark Knight Cecil, still dealing almost 200 damage because of the dark weakness of the Octomam, and there is our pink tail. So zoom, zoom, a pass and a pink tail. Here we go.
Our pink tail and our party really liking a lot of the things that could come from that pink tail, especially if that hook comes early. Crystal swords, Excaliburs, Avengers, power shirts. Well, maybe not power shirts, but so many good things. Even an arty bow for Sid right now with that wealth of arrows we've seen. So many good hits right now inside that pink tail that our runners can make use of.
Yeah, I would, as a runner, actually be hoping for a hook route right now because that means I get to turn that pink tail in, and I have a very good shot at getting something juicy for this party in the way of equipment.
And that is about the best overworld shop you can hope for right there. Cabins, star veils, all you need on the overworld right there.
Yeah, that's going to take you for camping gear till the end of the game. And Starvale wise, if you ever need anything extra, you have it at your ready. So
Yep.
a very convenient shop for sure.
Speaking of convenience, did see an Earth Hammer, and that may be what Leggy is selling up to get here. One of Sid's better weapons, honestly, at least in my opinion, in terms of hit rate. The 5 strength damage, or the 5 strength boost, the fire affinity on it there. And hey, we get something on the overworld that has a lot of multiple targets. It does also cast a fairly weak, but still cast Quake.
Yeah, I will say it's going to be a little unfortunate having that Earth Hammer for Pale Dim because Earth Hammer dealing fire damage because hashtag FF4 things. Not going to be great against this Pale Dim, which resists all of the flavors of elements. So whether it be fire, ice, or lightning, Pale Dim, not exactly a fan.
And even these Blizzard Spears, not really going to do a whole bunch of work here. I mean, the good news is there's only roughly about 1,800 hit points here, so runners aren't going to have too hard of a time getting through it still, just more annoying than anything.
Yeah. This is, if you can't tell by the amount of slows being cast, this is going to be a little bit of a slow fight. But Apex is through.
There you go. There's our hook route.
Yeah, again, I would be happy as a runner to see that. That's the turn-in for the pink tail. You have basically all the characters except a white mage to use any piece of gear you get there. Bahamut notwithstanding, Masamune notwithstanding, but the other 6, you have people who can use them.
Yeah, I was about to say, is this setting them up for the Zonk in terms of the Bahamut summon, no ready to be seen?
I mean, it's a lot of money, if that's what it comes down to.
I mean, we do have access to that gated shop in Cave Eblin as well. Who knows what's in there, especially in terms of Bacchus wine, coffins, sirens, all the good stuff.
Yeah, and the fact that there's 2 guaranteed in that Cave Eblin shop is the big thing to me, that no matter what happens, you're going to see at a minimum some combination of hourglasses, sirens, Bacchus, elixirs, and coffins. 2 of those 5 will always be there, and that's huge. to have access to it this early. To your point, I do.
Yeah. That's another reason I want to see hook seeds early. Besides sending the runners hopefully to like an evil wall or something like that because we're mean, because we want to see those items, especially like with a darkness crystal. Make them make that decision. Do we go to the moon? Can we go to the moon? Can we do things early? Can we be cheeky about this?
Yeah, and oftentimes you can see folks get rewarded. You go to the moon, you maybe find a siren, you find an hourglass, and you can take on the hair dryers, get a little XP, get some sort of splashy weapon, and onward you go. It might seem like a risk, but so often the payoff is well worth it.
Instant another HP based jam and the Lip Bolt, also the Leviathan summon, and there's Hourglass 2s and Elixirs as our two guaranteed items there. Hourglasses are actually huge here, especially if you're going to be checking any kind of loot here, so you can actually free up everything against Stalemen and
Yeah.
just not die to them.
Yeah, I would buy one. Oh, hi, Wyvern. That's a boss that exists, and well, there's a Starveil, and it doesn't exist anymore. Good reaction time from apexcorvid there.
Even better to see Wyvern out of the pool, especially with no anchor to be seen right now. Well, I mean, Sid is, but
I was going to say we have a Sid currently and access to another Sid. And speaking of anchors, there's Edward. But Leviathan on the hook route, honestly, about as free a fight as you can get down there.
yeah, we're not going to exploit any weaknesses with no lightning-based weaponry between all of them. But honestly, seeing seeing Leviathan there, I mean, it's Big Wave, it's Ice 2, it's Ice 2, it's Big Wave again, and really, that's not that scary in the Rubicon slot there. That's Leviathan is something I really love to see there.
Yeah, that makes me want to consider a very early hook dive if I'm in our runner's shoes. Especially, let's say the Pinktail turns into like an Avenger. You can darn near solo that by just letting someone go nuts with an Avenger sword. And you really don't have to worry about much.
Yep. Meanwhile, over on Mountain Mega Nuke over here, we've got the Hummet across the bridge from Leviathan, or sorry, Wyvern there. So yeah, that's the thing.
Yeah, and apexcorvid playing chicken with dragons and coming out on top. And looks like Leggy found the Staleman chest, opted not to take them on. Uh, could have been beneficial to buy an hourglass and try to take it on, especially with the Blizzard Spear and exploiting the weakness there. But you always run the risk that the Stalemen are just going to punch everyone to death while the hourglass is queued up, and then you just fall over anyway.
True. I mean, that glass hat that was found earlier probably would have helped a little bit with that, but I mean, fading that. Speaking of glass hats, there's another one on Ordeals.
I mean, I love me an early glass hat. It's one of my favorite pieces of gear to get early on in the seed. Probably that, and maybe a crystal ring. The immense physical defense just allows you to do so many silly things that you shouldn't otherwise be able to do.
Oh yeah, and even later in the seeds, I am a huge, giant proponent of cover strat Cecil.
Yeah.
So that glass hat and any other really good heavy armor just makes him an absolute wall in the back row.
Yeah, it's pretty fantastic. Looks like we're getting a whole lot of randomly sized and desized party members on Apex's side, so getting the full experience of Mount Ordeals.
Yep, Leggy did grab a couple of hourglasses on the way out, and yeah, that does actually mean, as chat did point out, that does mean Officer Soldier was the group that did hand us the opening item there in Baron. That's also between those two Officer Soldier free bosses are kind of jumping out of the pool fairly quickly here.
Yeah, Bahamut out as well. To be honest, if you're well adept, if you're well knowledged in your ability to take on Wyvern, oftentimes Wyvern is a free boss too. Yes, it's super scary because it comes charged with a front loaded mega nuke, but that's a lot of fairly free or free-ish things. There's a white shirt which Cecil will be able to equip that, and that will help him take even less damage.
Probably the least of what our runners wanted to see, but I'm not mad at seeing it either.
I mean, it makes his Cure 2s viable as a white mage. That's kind of the odd thing about it, that it's plus 10 or 15 willpower. You'll have to educate me on that, but I know it's a bunch, and it's also fantastic against magic, and it's really great against physical too. It also provides, I think, undead resistance. The white shirt does a lot of really good things.
Yeah, absolutely. I would actually have to educate myself on just how much the white shirt. I was kind of hoping the tooltip over on Leggy's hovered over to. I want to say it's plus 10.
Yeah, I know it's a lot. It's a fantastic piece of gear. Looks like Apex, with the power of the Paladin, is going to take on the CPU. Fairly easy. By it remedying for 33 health means it only has 330 total, as remedy is always going to be a percent-based heal of the max HP. So this is going to be a very quick fight for Apex.
Yeah, even that Assassin Dagger from Cecil swinging for 90 takes out one of the orbs. Sid takes the other one. A Flying Cane should... Oh no, there's a globe.
And nothing of value is lost, at least at this point.
No, if you're gonna lose XP in any slot, this is probably one of the slots to do so. However, that's Viking. While this slot is usually slow, it hits pretty hard, and with 3 pieces to hit with, that's not exactly what you want to see here.
Yeah, if there's a glass hat, this would be the time to use it. Also, probably want to be in the back row for all this, because to your point, this is going to hurt.
Yeah, unfortunately, this slot here, while the hit points are split between the main body and the arms there, unfortunately, the attack power is not, and you can just see how hard they're punching here, as Apex is forced to take a reset here.
Yeah, unlike a lot of other split bosses, let's say the Officer Soldier or the Calbranidals, Bigan does not get a damage weakness as far as a reduction in attack power. Bigan is 3 parts, all equally punchy, and will ruin your day. So that is a very unhappy time for Apex there in Baron Inn.
Yeah, Bigan, I feel like, is kind of one of those sneaky bosses that nobody really likes to talk about in terms of when they bring up the rude bosses in the game, but every time you see him, it's like, oh no, this jerk again.
Yeah, Bigan is one of my least favorite bosses to find in a lot of places, because so many, let's say moon spots, for example, or just random spots on Earth you wouldn't think would have strong physical attacks. The Bigan just shows up, and before you know it, everyone has fallen over on your team. And it's not a great time. Bigan's a jerk.
Yes, he is. Leggy is through. The Bahamut did wait for the countdown to have Sid reflect that Mega Nuke here. I'm not sure about the structural integrity of that bridge anymore after 2 Mega Nukes, but we'll cross that deep ravine when we get there.
I mean, better to cross it than fall in it, which Bahamut has now done.
At the very least, hooray, we do get a free heal out of the Paladin room.
Yeah, if nothing else, it's one extra chance to put Edward on the ground later and treat him as the anchor he should be until you find a spoon.
And then still treat him as the anchor he should be. And I know I'm going to catch heck from Aska after saying that, but yes, I said that. Eddie is an anchor first and foremost.
Look, you got to put that 9 agility to good use.
I mean, all things considered, actually, and Edward, who does gain levels, does gain agility fairly quickly. So you get him any kind of levels, and unfortunately, that anchor goes away real fast there.
So the Eblin weapon and armor shop, hilarious. The armor shop, literally one item, heroin rope.
I mean,
Probably the single best piece of defensive gear you're ever going to find in a shop. The weapon shop, samurai bow, samurai. If there were a single female character for this team, that would be Murder Child, Murder Rosa, Murder something ready to go. But there's not a single character that can use any of it.
now the question is, apexcorvid after that Bagan fight did reset out, is picking up that Edward, and did, I believe, turn that pink tail as well here. Sees Leviathan probably diving underground at this point, but I do hope Apex does not forget that he did leave the Baronin hanging there.
Yeah, it may be a tactical thing where he's just like, well, we'll see what the hook rat is. If it's free, I'll just go underground and come back later. Usually not the end of the world to fade a single overworld check. The huge punish, obviously, is if it's a magma key, but we'll hope for Apex's sake, if that is his play to go underground now, that it's not exactly a magma key there. But he could also just be looking for extra gear or things to help him through it.
Yeah, given that it is a Leviathan there, unless we have something absolutely super rude at the King Queen slot, and already 55 defense with the glass hat and white shirt on that Cecil, so not much is gonna bust that Cecil right now. But again, and even if it were a magma key right now, like I said, unless something were incredibly rude, and Dark Knight Cecil's already out of the pool here, or in the pool waterfall if you prefer, not much is gonna bust a Cecil at that point that's sitting in all that defense.
Yeah, I think the worst thing that could probably be at the King Queen Eblin spot right now, I guess Evil Wall.
Something like that, yeah.
But we have Edwards, and he can hide, and then Evil Wall just kills itself. So, yeah, to your point, there's really not a ton with this party. This isn't the type of party where you're relying on like Iridia, who has 200 health, and a Porum, who has 250, and a Tella, who's got 350. This is a team of fairly healthy, beefy boys that can, if not take a hit, at least dish one out physically.
Yeah, and to your point earlier, you see Kane already doing quad digits with that Blizzard Spear. So these Stalemen, especially with how much they are not hurting the party, is free, and I actually like this check because Cecil really doesn't have much, and there's a lot of good rolls, and oh, never mind, that's Bahamut Summon.
Well, it's money. How many hourglasses is a Bahamut worth?
I mean, I'm sure somebody in chat could probably tell me, but yeah. I mean, it's early enough in the seed where even if Iridia's at dwarf right now with a Bahamut, that's enough to make me seriously consider it.
With the Stardust Rod that was found also, I would actually keep that Iridia standing. And Naitu, I know you've played a fair amount with me. You know my feelings on Iridia as the best anchor in the game. So yeah, Stardust Rod, Bahamut, Iridia, I will let her live for that.
I do know what the term for agility means, yes.
I do love this this geared up Cecil for defense though. White shirt, glass hat with an Aegis shield. That's mage resist, that's undead resist, it's a ton of magic resist, it's all the physical resist you could want. That Cecil, things are going to tickle him, and he's going to be like, haha, you did one, haha, you did one. And he's just going to laugh.
Yeah, Apex finding that absolutely loaded weapon shop did already set Edward up for archery here, and is just going through, hey, what can I get rid of for a samurai bow? And that would do it, yes.
Yeah, I don't hate it. I mean, it's not only for Edward, but Also, possibly for Sid. Sid with Samurai, and maybe a Strength Ring thrown on there. That's a decent bit of archery damage from an early character, or
Oh
maybe
yes,
even Cecil too.
Sid is a wonderful archer, and especially later because most people don't kind of think of it, but Sid takes a look at the buffs from say if our runners find an arty bow here and says, well, I don't care about that spell casting malice, I don't use it, I'm just going to get all the bonuses and not care.
Yeah, you know who does care? I think there's a cat or two that really care about this conversation and want
But
in on
she
it.
really does, and I'm trying to figure out why, or she
I,
just wants her 15 minutes of fame here, or 2 hours, or however it is. Come here, Squirt, come talk to everybody.
I think I can tell you what it is. The cat claws were in Eblin's shop there. The cats
Ooh.
just have this sixth sense. We know they do.
I would believe that there. However, she is also hanging around the refrigerator, as I can see, and apparently somebody put something in there that she really wants.
It looks like we've had a lot of divergence, but our runners have met back up here in Baron. They are in the Baron Inn. Both runners have objective 3 and 4, trading the Pinktail and getting Edward. So a lot of divergence just to meet up again. Looks like Apex has the bonus levels from exactly the Staleman chest, but other than that, they're they're dead on with each other.
Yeah, it is definitely definitely you kind of see the Cecils each in their back row just laughing off whatever damage they want to here. Could use a little bit better weaponry, and hey, who knows? Maybe this Baigan will drop us an Earth Crystal and we can go raid some treasuries or something.
I do love me an early Earth Crystal for exactly that reason. And then secondly, to do something silly like rush into it at 20 minutes in with a scuffed party like this with no access to Zerk, and just hope to get through whatever's up there.
I mean, to be fair, I've seen some scuffed parties running up Zot before, and I would feel actually incredibly happy with this party, especially with another Sid being added to the massive pile of beef that is this party. And there's a darkness crystal. Yes, I know you're happy about it too, aren't you?
But Dad, I want to go to the moon. The big whale looks like a shrimp.
A shrimp, yes, exactly.
But that darkness crystal, once Apex goes through and does the dance with the NPCs in the town of Baron, that darkness crystal opens up a gated character check, which is a big deal on these flags because the band man from Zemus Zone 3 has returned with a vengeance. He had his vacation, he is refreshed, and that's just yet another chance to get a Fusoya off the moon in his vanilla location. So, in our runner's shoes, I think you gun it for this darkness crystal.
Not only that, but one of the key items that we did pick, or not key items, but one of the items we did pick up from the Eblin shop were hourglasses, and
That's true.
hourglasses just enable so many things, even like early LST moon randoms for giant piles of XP.
Yeah, you can go through and you can take the hairdryer chest. You can go through to Lunar Subterrane Floor 2, where 7 of the 8 encounters on Floor 2 have 2 or more enemies and can be life glitched. So a lot can be done with hourglasses and the moon, to your point.
Yeah, actually, I again with this team and Tier 7 Loop being their friend, I actually wasn't even thinking about it. Yes, I actually love the hairdryer play here.
Yeah, it would be a little awkward to get the damage output initially, but you have 100 turns or whatever it is for an hourglass 2 to figure that out.
They'll get there eventually, and I can actually remember if the hairdryers are immune to instant death or not, because I'm believing one of them is still rocking an assassin dagger, and I don't know if they can be swooned.
I know they can be coffined. I don't know about death procs from an assassin dagger. I would assume so, though, if they can be coffined.
Sounds like a great idea, or at least something that we need to science out sometime.
I agree. Our runners could just do it. We could all learn science on stream.
Well, I know there is a certain runner who may or may not be listening right now who decided to take a Dark Knight Cecil all the way to endgame here, and maybe he can tell us.
I mean, we're not that silly. That runner is that silly, but we're not all that silly.
Oh my, there's sirens now that now that the combo of the siren and the hourglass is out, warlocks are on the table.
Well, the 5 mute bells in apexcorvid's inventory that he bought also.
Oh yeah.
So a lot of options here with sirens and hourglasses. If the hook route wasn't trivial enough already, with that Leviathan being there, boy howdy did it just get a lot easier even.
Yeah, and apexcorvid picking up those mute bells may be thinking that same thing. I didn't think we saw much in the way of mage killers, but again, with this party,
Well, how about second Edward?
The man, the myth, the legend, on
the
moon.
lunar bard. Well, if you needed anchors, we've had access to 4 of them already.
So we found double Sid, we found double Edward, so we found 2 of the 3 possible duplicate characters now. So yeah.
And looks like Apex was listening 15 minutes in the past, of course. So not actually listening. And I think we're going to get some hair dryers here.
Again, like I said, love the play. Again, this party wants the tier 7 loot. And I believe hair dryers with a single life glitch on 3 of the 4 gets you just shy of 60,000 XP as well.
Yeah, I think the back ones, what are they, the Procolites instead of the Jukelites? Whatever, they're all hair dryers. They look ridiculous. There's a Zeus gauntlet. I mean, that's arguably better than whatever you're going to get in here.
I mean, let's get paid as well here. I mean, I can't argue against it.
Yeah, this is, like you said, going to be somewhere around 50 or 60,000 experience. That for the Cecil and the Kane in particular is going to go a long way. Meanwhile, Leggy diving down into the lunar subterrane, likely we're going to see either gold dragons or warlocks, depending. Looks like warlocks, as we have stopped on floor 4, where 3 warlocks are the sirenable encounter. With life glitches on each of the first 2 killed warlocks, this fight will yield 86,500 XP, and that's with non-10 key items. With 10 key items, it's 173,000. So big time experience for both of our runners coming up.
Useful no matter who you're trying to level there. The moon is just absolutely huge for getting anybody off the ground.
Yeah, the moon, it's difficult for a reason, but when you can cheat and use hourglasses to just freeze things in their tracks, or mute bells in this case to make warlocks, which are predominantly going to cast spells, every so often they'll run around and punch something. But when you can cheat and get all that XP for very little effort other than a bit of time, it's a great feeling.
Yeah, cheating's fun. Or at least in that manner.
I mean, half of speedrunning is ways to figure out how to cheat the game. Let's be real.
True.
And that was no life glitches on Apex's side. Not certain if he wanted that Edward to stay up or not, but he has found a second Bahamut. sad bard noises.
I believe the second Muhammad does make Rydia miss not appearing in this seed. I'm pretty sure.
Well, and I believe he also had already found 2 Leviathans from his looting. So I think, and also a Sylph, if I'm not mistaken. Literally everything one or multiple Rydias could ever want. And no sights on Rydia whatsoever.
No sights on a lot of characters here. No magic other than Cecil's white magic here in the seed at all. No mages allowed, apparently.
Well, don't forget Sid's Earthhammer.
Is that really magic? Well, is that really, like... Does that
I mean, it's air quotes magic.
I mean, that's as much magic as it is as Yang taking a Thunderclaw and applying it to Kanyatsu's face.
That's fair. Looks like Leggy getting the life glitches off. This is going to be a very juicy amount of experience. Roughly 3 times what Apex got for the hair dryers. So you're going to see some big time level gains. And also the Edward staying down is going to make anchoring a lot better for Leggy. Keeping that Edward at 9 agility, whereas on Apex's side, that Eddie may be upwards of probably 20 or so agility already, because he's a speedy boy.
Yeah, and this first Warlock fight's the one that's going to take the longest, just by virtue of the fact that these parties just need a lot of XP, or at least a little bit of XP to get off the ground here. So we're seeing him taking just a little bit to kind of hit that last Warlock. May have missed 1 life glitch as we only got 69 too, but that's good for a lot of levels on everybody, honestly, at this stage of the XP game.
Yeah, and also conveniently good enough to get exit on Cecil, so you don't have to make the long trek all the way back out.
Now, if you're up here, you take at least 1 or 2 Warlocks worth of grinding here. And I know we've discussed it before, but honestly, you've got a little bit of extra stuff here. Why not take a look at a boss or 2?
Yeah, I don't hate the idea, except there's one big issue for this party. Where's your source of Zerk?
Yeah, where's your source of Zerk? I mean, you're looking for something free here still. I mean,
Yeah.
let's be completely honest, with no real source of healing other than about 10 Cure 2 bottles left here. Really not much else to find. We'll be right back. I need to take care of the kid for just a moment here. Yep.
But meanwhile, Apex has found the Mad Ogre chest, putting those hourglasses to good use. Really laying into the trap chest experience, trying to find a nice shiny stick for one of his Zerkers to really expedite things on his way down this hook route. Leggy giving us a peek at Value Cave. Looks like not looting, but we're going to get a boss check here. Maybe try to snatch King Queen Evelyn or even a Water Hag. And Apex is through the Mad Ogres, and there's a Murasame. So yet another piece of equipment for somebody who we have not even been able to find yet. We have a Lunar Sparkle in Value Cave. Is this the plague we've been looking for? It is. Without Zerk, this is going to be a really obnoxiously long fight. However, this is a free fight. The question is, at what cost? Looks like Leggy is going to employ the strategy of reflecting the count back onto Plague and watching Plague actually off itself. Primary concern here, though, with that fast being reflected back, Plague may actually never be able to have the count resolve and kill himself. The ATB has to not be clogged enough for that count to resolve. So it is a little bit of an annoyance when the fasts start reflecting back. It's going to turn this into an incredibly long experience without something like a silk web to slow plague down to let that resolve. Meanwhile, Apex has found the alt gauntlet at the King Queen Evelyn spot. So a lot of extra experience coming in. But I'm personally very intrigued to see if we can get this plague out of the way on Leggy's side, whether it be by means of a reflected count or by more traditional means of just bashing plague's head in.
You walk away for a moment and they find everything.
I mean, that's how it goes. We got a little bit of an alt gauntlet. We got a lot of bit of plague. We got some Kane bopping his teammates, surprising absolutely nobody on Apex's side. We now have a Sid joining him, so Team Betrayer on Apex's side.
I mean, it was done before anything happened there to the Betrayers. They came to their senses quite conveniently right before the final act of the game here, right? That's how it works.
Sounds good to me. Meanwhile, that Spear Kane and that Archer Sid combining for about 4,000 damage around here. This plague, if I'm remembering correctly, at this spot's going to have around 35 to 37,000 health. So it's going to take a little while. It's going to be a lot of turns to pull this off, but Leggy is set up extremely well to do this right now. Very heads-up play to make this work.
The only thing I don't like here is I am looking at that item screen, and there are 2 life potions remaining.
Yeah, that's potentially scary. You are not wrong. But this is where, if the fast been reflected before the count, and Leggy had a silk web, plague would have counted itself out. But unfortunately, the setup was just not quite right to make that work. Looks like Leggy is going into full DPS mode with everyone now, except for that Edward, to just try to get the rest of this damage down. And this is super awkward now with only 1 life pot and 3 people falling just before.
I mean, you feel like it's got to go to that Kane for this final push here.
Yeah, it's got to go to Kane, and maybe he can jump something. But I think this might just be one of those where you come back later, maybe with a Zerk caster, maybe with a couple Bacchus wines, and just, try to get this to work. Because it's just going to be super hard to do with this party right now. Meanwhile, Apex is through that alt gauntlet and onto this Leviathan. We'll see if he takes a save here. It would not surprise me to see him take a save. We are now in Hold A and Pray. And, that miss from Sid with the bow. No, not like this, Sid. Sid, please.
Sid, no.
There's enough actions with this Hold A and Pray, though.
Oh, yeah.
That this might be a 0-0 lock. Because they have been they've had the fast cast on them multiple times. So they might be entering the queue quick enough, even though Sid's out of arrows.
Oh, no.
Yeah, there's not, I don't know if this can work now. Because I think as soon as you exit, he's going to fall over, and that's...
Yeah, that's it.
Oh, that's
there.
Tragic.
I mean, the good news is still has the Warlock grind XP and knows exactly where that plague is.
Yeah.
So it does have good information and didn't lose anything other than the time lost fighting that plague here. Meanwhile, Apex is through that alt gauntlet, is over to Leviathan, And again, as we said, should not have much in the way of trouble here. But yeah, as you're saying, well, let's come back with some Bacchus. Let's, as soon as we find Bacchus, mortgage the farm for like all the Bacchus because this
Yeah.
party needs it.
And it looks like Leggy swag flying with the big whale. Uh, Checking, I would assume Kaipo for maybe a Sand Ruby character or maybe a Cursed Ring.
I'm
Not
thinking life potions actually.
Could be life potions as well. It's a very good point. Might be going back to just try to take on this plague right now.
I mean, the only thing I'd say is stop by that weapon shop and see if you have some more. I mean, well, actually, no, we know where the highbrow ammunition is. It's over in Cave Evelyn. That's where the samurai arrows are.
Yep. Yeah, you can go buy. I mean, a stack of 10, I think, is 1,400. So you buy, 90 of them. You spend 10 grand. You're guaranteed to get through.
Yeah. Well, I mean that, and I mean if we're selling the farm, I mean at that point, why not throw? Yeah, I mean that's a lot of gold outfit, all your Sids and your Cecil with that, but it would do quite good work here.
Speaking of doing good work, shoutouts to Chemist Edward over on Apex's side. Not something you see every day. But that Edward, I believe, has a glass hat on, as well as some other things. Not that the glass hat particularly helps in this fight, but Eddie just launching these Cure 2s to help keep Cecil and Kane in particular alive.
Oh yeah, if there's one good thing out of that, and there's our cat claw for somebody, but yeah, there's one good thing about Eddie. He's fast. He will lob those Cure 2s, although Apex is running into the same issue a little bit as Leggy, as Ed does have that final Cure 2 queued up. Is now out of Cure 2s.
Oh, nope, has another 10
another
stack.
stack. Okay, never mind. False alarm.
Worst case scenario, white shirt on Cecil. Take him away from DPS and move him over to curing. Those Cure 2s will do meaningful healing with a white shirt.
Yeah, sounds good to me, especially given that, let's see, the white shirt there. Oh, yep. And I believe that was second ice too, so might not want to res him before the next big wave comes out, and here it comes, yep.
Yeah, this is rough now because an Ice 2 will take out anyone but probably Sid here. Looks like we're focusing on the Cecil, though, who does not get sniped. And Sid must have some sort of resistance gear on, like you were talking about those Dragoon pieces earlier. Because he only took 80 from that Ice 2.
Oh yeah, that's, again, I love Dragoon set, at least just giving one. Generally I like, shields because they're not eating up they're not eating up an equipment slot better served for, a bandana, a power shirt, or a Zeus gauntlet, but...
And 2 hit point Edward gets the final blow on Leviathan. You love to see it.
You absolutely love to see it. As much as I love to bag on Edward, I like to see characters that do get tossed a little by the wayside still succeed. So well done, Edward.
And it looks like Leggy is in for attempt 2. The count has been reflected. I did not see if any of the fast got reflected, but I think Leggy will, if nothing else, be able to get through this via attrition.
Oh yeah, with the Silk Web now up on that uncounted Cecil now, Plague will spend the rest of the fight pretty much, because I'm not sure if that Silk Web's gonna run out with how fast this slot is relative to the party. So it is pretty much just hold A and win at this point.
Yeah, that Star Veil is going to be up for a long time. I don't know the exact nature of how long it's going to take to run out, but it functions under the same premise as Plague counting itself out. So if the Veil basically doesn't have a free check in the ATB queue to fall off, the count also won't have a free check in the ATB queue to count out Plague or your party members. My understanding is it functions under that same premise.
Yeah, and even if you do notice that the count does, or the veil does fall off, you just still do have the backup strat of that face down Edward to at least restart, try and get that all set up again here.
That's definitely true. And there's a Stardust Rod for apexcorvid to go with the other Stardust Rod that apexcorvid found in the Watery Pass.
To go with those black mages not appearing in the sea, apparently, all four of them that can use it, so two of them have to be around here somewhere, right?
Well, not really. You could have one in the Giant and have, I don't know, like Demist at Elements. So Demist has the package and the package has a Rosa. And so maybe Tella and Porum were not in the seed, but Fu and Rosa were, I don't know. Two of the four could be there, but gated by the Giant is what I'm trying to say.
Oh,
so
yeah.
realistically, no. There could be times where you don't get white mages, period.
I was saying more with the black mages, honestly, but
oh well, those two
just to get use out of the those Stardust rods. But I mean, Fu can do that too. So.
Oh boy, a ninja hat, the value.
I mean, it's a nice hat, but definitely at 53.46, and our runners both having an effective 3 key items plus a pass, you feel a little behind. You have to.
Yeah, I mean, all of the checks that have been done, it's got to be a little strange for the runners to be in this position because they mathematically, not that we're going to do math on stream, they should have had access to about 5 or 6 key items now with everything they've been through. And they've gotten a terminal key item effectively in the Darkness Crystal. For all intents and purposes early on, you're not going to go chasing moon bosses. You got a terminal key item in the Pinktail, and you got your underground access in the Hook. You didn't get the Baron key, you didn't get the Earth Crystal, you didn't get the Twin Harp, no Pan, no Tower key, no Rat Tail. Anything that gates anything else, they're all completely out in the open. So to see yet another non-gating key item, or in this case, not a key item at all, from that ninja hat, you're starting to think, like, where are they? What has happened to my key items?
Yep. Also, unfortunately, the Star Veil did wear off over on Leggy's side. Is back to resurrecting the Edward. Hopefully does get another count or clogs up the nope, there's Kane, and we're doing it again, but hey, at the very least, we do have 40 life potions here, so not the end of the world here.
Yeah, Leggy is going to get through this. Like we were saying earlier, this is, the backup strat, where you life someone back up, maybe you throw a veil on someone, and it reflects again. But Leggy has the life potions and the DPS to just get through this now and win a battle of attrition.
So, real quick, did see Mylon, which I believe has to be Mylon Z at the Leviathan spot, and Dark Elf at the Asura spot. So that is not a very scary Fey March here.
It's even less scary when you have a lightsaber for your paladin. That Dark Elf is going to have a really bad day if Apex chooses to make it have a bad day. But Apex is going to seek out greener pastures and fade that Dark Elf.
Oh man, value. At least in terms of an objective and an Avenger, value at Cave Bahamut. You'll love to see it.
Yeah, I'm all about an Avenger. If it's not a key item, if it's not a Crystal Sword, if it's not an Excal, Avenger is the next best thing. It also means you don't necessarily need to find Bacchus now. And it means maybe even you can get away with not finding a white mage at all. Avenger is a phenomenal piece of gear.
Yeah, and it's something. Leggy is going to jump back down. Probably did lose a bit of time still on that plague. is going to make it up in spades on this underground dive, with an Avenger just tearing through everything in her way.
Yeah, the thing about the Avenger is just leave it on the character. Let them just start swinging at everything in their path. Up until the low 40s, the Avenger itself is going to do more damage than actually Avenger swapping, unless it's an Excalibur or a Crystal Sword. Just leave it on, let the Zerk run wild and go. So I'll be interested to see what Leggy's methodology is with that Avenger, but I would love to see it just left on and let Cecil rip through things.
Actually, I'm more, especially if Cecil actually gets access to one of those weapons. It is one of those things where Cecil sometimes has other things to do in terms of covering, that kind of thing. Kane doesn't. Just give it to Kane and let him be mindless in terms of swinging into everything, and nothing of value was lost.
Yeah, that's definitely fair. There's two different characters that can equip that Avenger. Looks like Apex is continuing the hunt for good gear. Doesn't have an edge to steal sirens here, so this is a quest for some shiny sticks for his Zerkers. Ending up just shy, unfortunately, on that jump. This Chimera enemy is actually a little scary because of the blaze it does. It will eat up a good chunk of your HP. I think it's 25% if I remember right.
I believe it is percentage based, and I believe a fire weakness will. I mean, I don't think they're carrying any of that there, but either way, is through there, and another class hat because we needed to be tankier apparently. But I mean, with sirens known and viable, I don't mind the fact that they can't steal any there. I mean, this is a gamble, but if you find a Crystal Sword or an Excal here, how much time you're going to save with that, and
oh yeah,
will more mage equipment for mages not appearing in this seed.
Well, to be fair, Cecil can equip that too. To go with that white shirt, he has all the outfits.
Now you're making me think of things on a certain thing that came out today with some apparently silly. That's Stardust Rod number 3, by the way. Apparently some silly flags were introduced here where we could actually make use of a white shirt and a sorcerer robe and other things like that at the same time under the correct conditions and a life staff.
Yeah, so anything you could ever want for any character that's not in this party right now is basically the mantra of this seed. Really, Niabari, our wonderful restreamer, make sure to give them a follow. But Niabari doing their best work to make sure that our runners, and continuing the theme, a Masamune for a character not in the party, just making our runners go, can I have something for the characters on my team? You know, the 5 in front of us, instead of, you know, the ones out in the ether somewhere.
Meanwhile, Leggy's Kane doing exactly what you would expect an Avenger Kane to do, and just mowing through this alt gauntlet.
Yep. Hey, the drop of the Bacchus wine, actually very useful for this team.
Oh yeah. And now that I think about it, didn't you, I missed, actually, that may have been while I was away tending to the kitten there, but did we actually get eyes on the top of the tower boss?
We probably did.
But, oh no, Chad is saying that there was no PCAD, so
all right.
We're going to be surprised together here.
Yeah, our wonderful tracker Nth pointing that out. And this is going to be, well, have we seen either Ruby or Elements yet?
I do not believe so. I believe this could be either one of them.
Ruby is particularly hilarious here, if this is Ruby, because the glares will do like 700, maybe less to characters with resistance. The magic is pathetic at this spot. Elements is ever so slightly scarier, but still not really a problem.
No, not especially. It's one of those things where did send Kane up in the air. Now, I believe Kane still has a blizzard type weapon here, so if by chance Nup did come down, I was about to say if by chance they could pop the change over to Ruby before Kane lands, it's going to be a hilarious amount of damage coming down from that Dragoon.
Yeah, I would say the Blizzard Spear on Kane into Avenger for this fight would be pretty good because you would exploit both Ruby's form and then the Val form, which I believe is weak to everything.
Yep, and a quick welcome to the raid from RPG Limit Break. Welcome to the all beef party here, where it's high hit points or nothing, and Edward. We've missed a little bit here. We do have kind of a little bit of a recap. We have found the pink tail early. We have found our bard in a couple places, including the moon. However, the big thing is Leggy-Starscream, while looks mildly behind, has actually found Plague at the Cave of Value, Cave Bahamut, and did manage to bring Plague down after a little bit here. So is up an objective here a little bit early.
And additionally, beyond Plague being an objective there, came away with an Avenger sword, which for this party, which you can see 2 Sids, a Cecil, a Kane, and oh, by the way, our other dupe that we found was an Edward. So our character selection so far has been iffy at best. That Avenger is a source of much needed Zerk. Leggy is going to be making up a ton of time through these fights, just solely based on that Avenger.
Yep, and actually that Bacchus drop you did mention, Sid, the bottom Sid, did chug that Bacchus, so did want to burn it immediately here.
Yeah, I don't hate it because there's a good chance you'll find them underground. You have 3 gated shops to peek in, and why not? And there's something that Apex is going to be extremely happy to see. A package, you will through that package for, oh, I don't know, any white mage, probably an edge as well, even though he's not a white mage. There's a lot of good characters that you can find there for this party in particular.
Oh yeah, Apex did find that Hanzo in a box here, so between that and any other ninja swords, which I may have missed them picking up or not, or him picking up there, again, not exactly bad here, but again, as you said, still a terminal key item in the sense that unless we get the super lucky D-Mist here, that package doesn't lead anywhere.
Yeah, it's yet another blank as far as finding items that lead to other items. So our runners are still, even after that top of tower check, just going to be scratching their head like, where's my progression?
Yeah.
In theory, it could literally all be through the moon. It would be incredibly rare, and it would be really awkward, frankly. But it could happen.
Yeah. Now despite that, apexcorvid has only actually shown us the tower here. We haven't seen any of the rest of the underground. Definitely not Dwarf. I actually did go to Fey March, which did have killable bosses, but did fade out of it. And did we throw that Stardust Rod in the pile? Is that Stardust 4 that we missed there, or?
Oh.
Well.
There's the payout.
There we go.
So now we have access to Excal Avenger Cecil. Not necessarily for Apex. Well, no, I guess we have Excal for Apex and Avenger for Leggy. Between the two, we have Excal Avenger Cecil.
Yeah, and honestly, that will, again, it comes down to the fact that I believe that while Excal Cecil is a superpower in his own right, I believe that Avenger to be slightly more valuable at this point in time.
Oh, 100% agree. Unless Apex finds Bacchus, the Avenger itself is going to be far superior to what the Excal can do on its own right now. Avenger is just so broken early on. And this is still early on based on, what has been completed versus what is left. Yes, we have 3 of 4 necessary objectives done for Leggy, but the chances of seeing a super early go mode while they are there, given how much is left, it's pretty unlikely. There's the Bacchus for Apex, so that's a good find for him for sure. But yeah, that Avenger is going to carry Leggy through all of these underground and remaining overworld checks.
Yeah, and with readily available Bacchus here, wow, does have Mira and Masa there, so
Yeah.
any edge sighting is an instant pickup here. But I mean, honestly, with this kind of party here, I'm not buying them by the ones here. I am buying them by the cask here. I am saying, shut up and take my money.
Yeah, I want to get them in a 6 pack, a 12 pack. Give me a 30 rack, however I can get them. Give me those wines in the biggest quantity you got.
Meanwhile, that was a I can't talk today. That was a bouncing mist dragon there in the back of dwarf here. So gonna get paid twice here. And maybe we'll find another dupe here. Maybe we'll find our last dupe here.
There is one slightly awkward thing about this fight is if you were to just try to take the hyper aggressive route of Zerk up Cecil, Demist is one of those annoying enemies that, well, it not absorbs, but it takes reduced damage from holy weapons. So as good as that Excal is, Cecil basically doing the same damage as Blizzard Spear Kane right now, which is super awkward.
Yeah, I really actually like the Avenger coming in here even better because Kane's just going to be swinging from the word go.
Yes.
And might be able to one phase this Demist here.
Yeah, Kane should be getting off two hits per swing from Demist and should be doing about 15 to 1700 damage. The spot has 8700 health. Apologies, we're doing math on stream. That's a quick kill in one cycle just from Avenger Kane alone, not including chip damage from anyone else. So I think Leggy's going to get through this far quicker than Apex. That Avenger really going to be showing its value here. Just kidding, there's a 2400 hit.
Yeah, 3800 before Mist Dragon even fires off a single hit with added chip damage for everybody else, and yeah.
Edward, unfortunately, is probably going to survive this, though. I don't know that Leggy's going to get to kill him in time.
But the real reward was the mop we found on the way.
Yeah, the mop is pretty good. Who do you get rid of? Pick a character, any character. Probably not Cecil, but you can make an argument for literally any of the rest of them.
Apex might be holding on to hope of a hook here. I mean, hasn't been making good use of that Edward, so Edward gets to stick around. Let's see what Leggy thinks here.
And yeah, Leggy offing the Edward makes sense, especially because Leggy was keeping Edward around as an anchor, not to be a functional member of the party per se. So with Eddie having been broken in the last fight as an anchor, it makes perfect sense to just to do away with him.
Meanwhile, hey, somebody just stick a Stardust Rod on.
Yeah, if only this Fusoya could dual wield, like multiple Stardust Rods, be pretty nice. If only there were a flag for that.
If only we could fire nukes out of both Stardust Rods.
Ooh. And after much divergence, yet again, we find our runners have come together. And please make sure, speaking of coming together, that you give a follow to these wonderful runners putting on this show for you this evening. Both Apex and Leggy, fantastic performers, great runners of this game. Make sure, give them a follow. They deserve your love. And hey, there's a magma key we can get underground now. Everyone rejoice.
I am very amused at the magma key there. Completely useless. Only one other key item for the pile here. We do still get the Mist Dragon check, sure. I mean, if you want to be real technical about it, let's be real. Unless there's an objective on that Mist Dragon, the real prize was Fusoya.
Yeah, well, the other thing, in addition to the prize being Fusoya, uh, again, not progression. Like, D-Mist pretty much has to have something, or we're staring dead at the Feymarch or Moon bosses, and our runners have a grand total of, in this case, 5 key items for Apex. But again, the package isn't going to lead you anywhere objective-wise. So this D-Mist at this point, if this isn't a gating key item like a Baron Key, an Earth Crystal, a Twin Harp, that means we're staring dead at the Feymarch or at the Moon. That's all that's left.
Yeah, well, actually, Leggy is showing us, because I do not think Apex gave us Sheila 1 either, which Leggy is running straight for, and only a power shirt on the Mist Dragon, so that one's off the table here. What kind of fresh chain heck do we have for our last piece of go here? I mean, we've got to find a harp, or we've got to find both pieces of forge, and none of them want to be seen here.
I would say it's going to be nigh on impossible to do the forge before the harp. Based on how things are progressing right now, those two almost have to be at the end of wild chains at this point. So I think forge might be out of the question as far as the last objective, unless there's something really spooky with the key item layouts here. I would be looking dead at the Twin Harp at this point as my 4th objective. So it's just a matter of where our runners think that Twin Harp is going to be.
I mean, with Fu in the party right now, and Bacchus in your pocket, is it time to... Oh, we find a Tella on the package, and Apex says no thank you there. But, and I'm kind of wondering if Leggy is headed that way. No, go and turn in Sheila 1. If Sheila 1 is a Zonk, let's say it's let's say it's a Sand Ruby for that there. Moon's still open.
Yeah, looks like we're going to get dueling Sheila 1 checks. And to answer a question from chat, Plague was in Value Cave, and Leggy spent a considerable amount of time getting through it, but has that objective done. And Sheila 1 gives us, unbelievably, half of the Forge, which means that Feymarch or the Moon are the only way to progress at this point. This is honestly incredible based on distribution of key items. I'm astonished right now.
That said, I mean, we know that the package on top of Tower has nothing, just by virtue of we already know where D-Mist is and our objective boss. And Leggy is saying, let's go to the Moon now. I mean, to be fair, I would be very tempted to hit that Feymarch, knowing that those two bosses down there are killable.
I would if I were Apex. Not as much in Leggy's shoes, because Apex has the Excal, Leggy just has the Avenger. So that Excal is going to exploit the holy weakness on both of the bosses here in the Feymarch. So for Apex, this makes total sense.
Yeah, that's probably good. I mean, yeah, that Excal is going to tear through that Dark Elf like nothing.
Yeah. But yeah, I don't hate the play from either runner here. For Leggy, it makes sense. Leverage the Fusoya, leverage the Avenger, go to town on the Moon. And for Apex, take advantage of what you got. You made the gamble to do the trap chest in Lower Babel to get that Excal. Leverage that Excal. Take what you have and use it to your best possible advantage. And I think both runners are doing a fantastic job of doing exactly that right now.
Does look like Leggy is going to bypass the Mirror Altar and go bottom up, which, I mean, to be fair, is totally viable given you are on a key item hunt and there is one more either way between that go mode there.
Yeah, I mean, with the pass, it kind of makes sense. You go to wherever you feel like you can get the most item density, and in this case, Leggy probably thinking everything's probably a chain at this point. Uh, so let's just go collect all of them and then figure out what we want to do after that.
Yeah, don't blame him. And to say something in chat, there are no towns on the moon, but I have it on very good authority that there are at least like 3 different pillow forts up there, mostly crewed by Hummingways.
There's also a small gathering of old men. If there's a certain flag on where Zeromus doesn't have to be offed, which is always an exciting proposition to go find them.
I mean, Poker Night on the Moon is a thing.
It definitely is. And Dark Elf gives us a rat tail. There's a chain.
There's a chain, and there's something incredibly rude here, and the Avenger will actually do really good here. Does probably want to queue up another Thor Rage or a Lit 1 here, as that Lit 3 is probably going to leave you. Yeah, that wave here, this is the Ribbon Room, so that is 42,000 HP here, even with that Avenger Kane whittling away at it. That wave is something you really don't want to take right now.
Yeah, this is going to be about 1,400 on this wave probably, and I think it's going to take, maybe Kane gets enough damage in.
No, did actually get there before the wave went off there, so that Lit 3 is going to do a fair bit of damage here, but yeah, the more that Kane can just swing away, and actually that Ice Brand is really nice here, as it is going to actually hit the weakness of Kane Yatso while the water barrier is down.
And speaking of down, Feymarch down for apexcorvid. That was about the quickest you'll ever see a Feymarch. Rat Tail and Earth Crystal out of the Feymarch. Not really a surprise, again, based on the distribution of key items in this seed. There almost had to be value in the Feymarch. Earth Crystal, 2 shots at a character. Realistically, boy does Apex want to see a Rosa.
Yeah, even with Fu there, 190 MP is still 190 MP, even with that elixir, that starting elixir in your back pocket there. Another source of Berserk, because Bacchus Wines aren't cheap, and if you can do it manually, and even as we said it, they probably aren't going to go for it, but I mean, that was one heck of a Rosa starting kit, still packed down there in Cave Evelyn.
That's true. That heroine robe, the samurai bow, and the samurai arrows. Looks like Leggy doing a phenomenal job with this jerk turtle at the Ribbon Room.
Yeah, has not seen a wave, and actually has done more than enough damage. Yep, hiding inside the shell already. This jerk turtle, not long for the world here, as we do find a deeper rabbit hole with a Luca key off of the rat tail.
Yeah, this is going to be very interesting because we know that Plague is on the moon. Leggy has completed Plague. At some point, we assume Apex will get there. But what will he find in the meantime? And will Leggy find the Adamant Rock first? It's going to be extremely interesting to see how this one plays out, because we don't have no mode from the commentators booth or from chat. We are just as much in the dark as the runners are at this point, and that's a very exciting place to be, honestly.
Yeah, now the big thing is Apex is turning up a lot of those rabbit hole items here. So as it comes down to it, how much of those are going to provide value? And we said, I know, oh my. While that is not the key item you are looking for, that is Cecil Go Burr 2.0 right there.
Yep. That is a Crystal Sword, and Leggy has an Avenger from the Plague, and that means we have Crystal Sword Avenger Cecil, and that means Cecil is casting nuke basically with every swing of the sword he takes, which means Fusoya just got relegated to second best member of the team, and that doesn't happen very often.
It doesn't happen very often, but you have problems, and all of them are great when Fusoya is the second best member of your party.
Yeah, I believe the kids call that first world problems. Although this is a very awkward fight to have the Avenger still on Kane, uh, I personally would probably just reset here uh, and just go Crystal Sword Avenger Kane on this fight rather than letting Kane do 2,000 a hit here. There's the Twin Harp for Apex from the Luca key. So Rat Tail to Luca to Twin Harp. We are now in no mode in the commentary booth.
So the big question we have here is when Apex does go to the moon, and Apex will likely go to the moon fairly soon. And hi, oh my, that's might have to reload a save here. Sid might drop if I'm doing my math correctly, and everybody else is gonna be a little bit low here from those opening big waves.
Oh my, going for the Zerk instead of the Cure 4. That's a very aggressive take.
Speaking of aggression, oh no, unfortunately, Kane had the elixir queued up on Cecil, and I believe probably just dropped that elixir on the ground.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Leggy making the best out of a not so great problem here, as reflecting 7,000 point nukes onto Asura is at least a decent consolation prize for having to deal with that Avenger Kane hacking away here.
Yeah, the spot, if I recall, has about 30,000 health, so this is going to take a hot minute, but I think much like that plague fight, Leggy's going to get through this. It's just not going to be super fast, but if this has value, it doesn't matter how fast you get through it. It looks like we have Apex warping out of Sealed Cave, which is always a fantastic feeling to be able to do. Nobody likes to, well, have to walk out of there. That's always terrible.
And speaking of rabbit holes, there's a Baron key. So again, we're just looking at just so many options because it's gonna be a while before Leggy gets back down to Earth, and especially gets down to that Rat to Luca. That's probably an almost last check as Leggy comes back to Earth, especially if you go to the moon. The one thing you don't want to do is rehash over checks that the opponent had access to. You do kind of want to commit to whatever you got off the moon.
Agreed. This race entirely comes down to now at this point. I know this is a little bit of Captain Obvious. Where is that adamant rock? Because we know that, to your point, Leggy's not going to touch that Fey March for quite a while now. Apex is very likely to see Plague before Leggy touches Fey March, just based on how I think the routing plays out. So where this adamant rock is tells the whole story of how this seed is going to play out.
Yep, super free boss of the Ogopogo slot. Now, the worst possible news for Leggy at this point that could come up is if the adamant rock is behind this Twin Harp.
Yeah, that would be devastating. Because that would mean this moon, while it did have Plague, had no other keys to the kingdom. So Heroine Robe, that would be great if female characters existed in the seed.
I mean, we're sure they're somewhere. I mean, one of them has to exist in the Giant. But yeah, they're taking the day off.
It's Ladies' Night, and Ladies' Night is not occurring on stream. I believe that's what's happening here.
Now, Leggy is making very quick work of this moon here, between Avenger and now Crystal Sword Cecil. And nothing's really going to stand up to Leggy's party. And honestly, this party, especially with that crystal sword, is Zeromus ready right now. So if Leggy finds the adamant rock off of one of the 2 remaining moon checks, Leggy's good to go, like right now.
Yeah, Leggy's good to go. Apex is getting there. A big question, and I know this is going to sound a little silly when everyone's swinging around these big swords and everything. What are we doing for anchoring? But we'll figure that out after we shut up for a second for music, because I was told we're not allowed to talk through it anymore. That's bad form.
So while we did get some fitting Final Fantasy II overworld music there, we found a rather free boss at a Crystal Sword altar, and we found the Adamant Rock. Leggy-Starscream is now in go mode, as we do get the pan, which is one of the worst things you could actually find, because it is going to take apexcorvid probably immediately to the Sylphs and Sheila 1 or Sheila 2 here, when we know that that is a Zonk and that apexcorvid needs to get moving to the moon ASAP.
Yeah, it's highly likely that one of those 2 pan checks is going to be leading into the tower key as well. And so this is going to be just a ton of chains on chains on chains. This is Leggy's race to lose at this point. Leggy's race to win, however you want to phrase it. Leggy-Starscream is in the driver's seat, and she has a phenomenal chance to get the 3-1 now.
Yeah, even with only 7 key items, I did see the Siren by here, so it does look like Leggy does want to pick up a few more eggs, probably, I would guess, full of XP here, which, again, we know that she absolutely has the time to do so now, but especially with how much was on the moon and the fact that she did prioritize it. And here's the thing that makes me feel actually really good if I'm Leggy. That I am sitting here and I don't have an Earth Crystal, a Twin Harp, a Tower Key, a Luca Key. I have avoided almost, and I haven't even checked that Baron Key, I have avoided every rabbit hole in the game.
Yep. Yeah, it's an extraordinarily odd distribution of items, and one that Leggy is going to be over the moon about. No pun intended as to where they actually went to find their go mode. But yeah, it's just a fantastic set of circumstances for Leggy in this case.
Yep, and we're going to see a Cocal shop. We're going to see even more Stardust rods. Because we obviously didn't have enough of those, but I mean, I probably would sell the farm about as much as I could here. Pick up a little bit of extra. I mean, that glass hat's really not going to help you against Aromas. One of the few boss slots it's not going to help against here, but honestly, get your stuff here. See maybe if you can sell the farm. I mean, I believe there might still be Hanzo in her inventory there. Get some Zeus gauntlets if you can. You're not using any of this stuff here. There goes the dwarf back. Well, I mean, if who's going to anchor here, I mean, I guess that's what's going to happen there. But it's going to at least be able to afford possibly one Zeus gauntlet with stuff on the bottom here.
Yeah, there's enough for it
Yep.
now. So I assume that we're going to be seeing dueling egg grinds, at least for a little bit here.
Yep. And to answer the question in chat, Pankraz, Plague was at K Bahamut, value incarnate right there.
And the adamant rock was up on the moon. Also, adamant rock was at the crystal sword altar. So yeah, lots of hard required moons. So Leggy went up there, took the chance that the item density of the moon, as compared to Keyless Tower plus Feymarch, was going to pay off, and Leggy got the goods, got the payout for it.
So the question here is, your Apex, now that you're farming eggs here, and I believe it has yet to check Sylph and Sheila too, so I guess it's probably the first priority here. But again, Earth Crystal, did check Luke, he did find the Twin Harp off of that. Hope he doesn't check the Earth Crystal here, but Leggy apparently says 1 and I'm good to go here. And yeah, Leggy is headed right to turn in that pass, headed straight to the Z fight, and let's see how it goes.
Yeah, this is going to be an interesting one, because the agility situation is going to be a little awkward here. Yes, Cecil is going to be absolutely swinging for the fences. I'm a little concerned, though, for the viability of this party at the second Big Bang stage, because I don't see the DPS to skip the second one. So I'm initially a little concerned about this.
Maybe not. It's going to Sid for the anchor. Did sell that Dwarf Axe, so no Dwarf Axe to be found here. I did spy a Silk Web in the inventory, so is going to be able to use that to normalize a little bit.
That's huge. That Silk Web is enormous. We'll see how it goes. I'm hoping for Leggy that she's able to get through this first time, no problems. Looks like Apex is going to give us eyes on the Pan turn-in. The Bonk itself was a Crystal Gauntlet, but more importantly than that, I think we have a question that chat's asking. I've seen these random flags, I think, or it's nap time. I mean, it's only
it may be nap
here.
time, but it doesn't look like a butt. It doesn't look like a butt. It needs to be kicked. Whose butt? Right now, are we set to kick right now with a crystal sword?
I'm hoping for Haha Hummus, personally. It's my favorite.
Yeah, I don't think I've actually seen Haha Hummus. Are we talking like the Invenerable sprites and everything?
Yeah, sure, why not?
Okay.
Also, I love that Leggy Starscream's names as they line up right now kind of just make me think of like what Tello would say if he were trying to remember something. Names. Forgot. Oh. Like, I feel like that would be Tello trying to recall.
That is now the official recall script right here. Apex is unfortunately diving up that Tower of Zot there. It can't fault him, but
and it's Hookmas.
Just our friendly neighborhood pirate captain here. We're not saying Tella has Alzheimer's, because that's not a thing I'd like to actually joke about here, but
I think Tella has issues recalling, yes, which is more a joke on his ability to use his in-game functionality more so than anything else.
Yep. Anyway, there does go out the Silk Web successfully. First Big Bang nerfed here. Counter nuke coming out onto Kane. Free boss the Mega Sisters and Water Hag there. And, well, that Kane might be taking a little bit of a nap here soon.
Really annoying, actually, to find Water Hag here. And the reason is, Apex would easily kill this boss in less than 3 hits.
Yeah,
And
especially with Nuke likely being one of those hits and
yes,
Excalibur being one of the other ones there, Kane does unfortunately drop that big bang. However, Crystal Sword Cecil doing Crystal Sword Cecil things, going bird to the tune of about 6,000 damage a swipe there.
yeah, not bad at all. And we find an edge.
We find the person who put up the missing sign for all that Hanzo steel that he was missing. Unfortunately, I believe that we may have sold it on the Dwarven Black Market.
That is true. Which again, Excal Cecil, you kind of do what you need to do to get him going. And oh baby,
But what about Second Edge?
we have found all our dupes. We have a dupe Sid, a dupe Edward, and a dupe. Well, I guess Edge's name is also Edward, but yeah.
Is this some kind of identity crisis here? Is Edge holding himself hostage? What's going on here?
That's definitely an interesting Tower of Zot, to say the least. Oh, that was a nasty big bang over on Leggy's side. This is super dangerous if this tips to Medio right now.
Yeah, if it does tip to Medio, good lord, and it could here, really. I mean, at this point, I think if the elixir is still in my pocket, I use one of the Sids if they're not berserking. Do we have a Chemist Sid here? I don't know.
No, I think they're all zerked.
Man, I'd really love to throw that elixir over a Cecil's face right now.
Or for the black hole to come out, maybe?
Yeah, oh no, here's a shake.
Yeah, this is dangerous. This means you have to tip into Medio and then have Cecil dodge it, basically.
Yeah.
This is scary.
Oh,
nope.
no, that's a wipe, unfortunately, and it's going to let Apex a little bit back in here, as that was a long time on that Z fight there. Unfortunately, we do know that Apex is not going to get anything here off of... Oh, no, the tower key. Oh,
no. well, that is something. That's not what Apex needs right now.
I'm 90% sure that that's going to lead to the Sand Ruby if key item tracking, or the spoon. They haven't found the spoon either.
I think Murasame's spot could still give Sand Ruby also, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
But yeah, other than that...
or anywhere in Baron, now that I think about it.
Yeah, true. Baron as well. Yeah, it's, again, strange distribution. You look at Leggy's screen, you see, well, it's basically 8 key items. The crystal is there, we promise. It's not a lot. And you look at Apex's side, and it's all the key items, but not the ones that he needs for progression.
Yeah, and to be fair, I mean, Apex actually does have everything he needs for progression, except the boss he needs to smash is just chuckling darkly up there in Cape Bahamut, saying, I wonder what he's going to get here.
Well, and this speaks volumes to Leggy's play early of peaking for that play. That really has been a deciding factor in this, because had Apex peaked that, hindsight being 2020, of course, he would, after completing the Twin Heart there, go right on up to Plague and would be right there with Leggy. Yeah. So it's kind of a tough break that something just peaking a boss in Value Cave can have that much of an impact.
Yeah. And unfortunately, the Tower Key wastes even more time with Dr. Dialogue here.
Yeah, French Vanilla Dr. Dialogue, not only getting the bad news about it being Dr. Dialogue itself, but getting the Balnab Z spot as well, which means he gets the full treatment of Dialogue instead of just partial.
Yeah, okay, so round 2, unfortunately Rufio has fallen here, so now Pan has set to avenging his friend against Hookamus here.
I mean, Hookamus 1, the runner's 0 so far. So Hookamus doing well. And it just goes to show, just because you have Crystal Sword and or Crystal Sword Avenger Cecil. Zeromus is still not free, y'all.
Oh no, the only Zeromus which is actually free is if you over leveled on a deep seed in 10 key item on the moon and have levels approaching the 60s. That's about the only time when Zeromus is honestly free, to be real.
Yeah, that's fair. I have played seeds like that where you go into it, you basically nerf the first Big Bang, you put the controller down, you get your victory, celebration drink, and you move on with your life. This is not that seed. The characters have not allowed it to be that seed. Unfortunately, Sid kind of maxes out at like 3k damage, and that's with like Power Shirt, Zeus Gauntlet, Artemis Bow. So that would be tough to get him contributing.
Yeah, it's to the point where, especially again, like last fight there, now didn't have enough damage to tip, but actually would like to see, and there Sand Ruby off the tower key, because why not? But as it comes down to it, just keeping one of those Sids alive, just so you know, because again, 3,000 hit points between the two, one of them is going to survive a Big Bang. So if food does get high rolled here, or again, like I said, late in the fight, and you think you've got it, and all you need is Cecil just to get a few more turns, so I'm going to throw an Elixir at him. Yeah, that's what I would leave one Sid for, just in case.
Yeah, I like the nerf here with the direct nuke as well. As long as this is timed correctly, this is going to push a lot of extra damage, as well as make sure that you don't wipe to a Big Bang Meteo combo platter, since the characters will only take about 1,000 damage from this, and then another 1,000 from a Meteo. So very heads up by Leggy here, adapting to make sure that they're able to get through this fight easy enough.
Yeah, that is a spicy counter onto that Kane, dropping him to his 60 hit points and falling. Meanwhile, apexcorvid getting the news that, hey, there's Lunar Sparkle over there, I should check that out. Followed by the slightly bad news of, oh, hey, that's required.
Yeah, it's bad news, but at the same time, if you think your opponent took the same route as you did, you're not necessarily feeling like you've completely lost at this point, because Apex, to his credit, has cleared a ton of the blue planet here, and the basically everything but the moon is done.
Oh, very much so, and especially especially if you have
there it is.
There is the crumble, there is the crack boom. What you were about to say there is, yeah, sometimes the best hope is just, hoping that the opponent fell into the same rabbit hole that you did. And here's the thing, apexcorvid has played an absolutely great game here at the moment. So, again, you feel like you might be there, but play goes down, apexcorvid is in go mode, and we actually are joined here by leggystarscream in the booth. Good game, and congratulations on your victory.
Thank you. That plague was either going to make me or break me, and it made me.
Yeah, big props for going back up immediately and kind of making that your hill to die on for the seed, if you will. Like you said, it was either going to make you or break you, and it made you this seed. It was very well done. The first attempt was so close, and we were very happy to see you get through it the second time.
Yeah, I'd have to go back and count damage on that first attempt. I don't actually know how close I was. But I knew exactly what I needed to do to adjust after the first count reflect attempt failed. I don't exactly understand the mechanics of Plague there, but it's like, okay, I just have to battle of attrition it out.
Yeah, there's a lot of awkward things with that. Some things we kind of discussed during the VOD in the booth about manipulating agility, getting the count to actually work against Plague and some other shenanigans like that. I personally have a question for you about your thoughts with the key item distribution here. Obviously, you finished the seed with 8 key items, which is not a lot for these. As you were going through and you were coming up with random items, things that were not key items, things that were just dead end after dead end, what were you kind of thinking? Where, what was your mindset at that point?
Honestly, it's just if you don't get new key items, that reduces the amount of checks you need to make. So it's just like, okay, I just got to keep going. I just got to keep going, making checks. And when I pull good things like the Avenger off Plague, the crystals that I pulled from I think it was the Ribbon Room, that's always great. But, you just have to keep doing the plays, because outside of my moon dive, I wasn't doing anything super cheeky. Like, I didn't do any of the Feymarch bosses, I didn't do Keyless Tower, I didn't decide to backflip down and do the cheeky Baron play. At the end of the day, when you're pulling up blanks, you're going to hit key items eventually. So you just have to keep chugging forward and get as many checks in as you can.
Absolutely. And I have one more question for you, and then let Knight you take it, and yourself as well, if you have any thoughts on the seed or the restreamer or anything about that. But how happy were you to see Fusoya?
God, I don't have words for how happy that Fu made me. I was gearing up for the Mageless Z fight. I didn't exactly know how I was going to get through it, but I knew where Cure 3s were. So I figured that was probably going to be what was going to get me through. And then Fu just fell out of the sky like an angel from the heavens. Or I guess like a Lunarian, they're basically the same thing in the lore, right?
Sounds good to me.
Sounds legit, yep. Okay, so my first thing is, I believe you were the one who I saw did take the initial dive down to LST4 and did have the mute bells and had one siren. I think that was before you may have found sirens in the underground, I believe. Yeah, sounds right. You took the one warlock fight and then decided, yeah, that's enough. I'm going to go chase that hook now. Was there any inclination to possibly even just chase, just go head down to LST7 and maybe check a boss or two there?
So I went down. The warlock fight took a while, but I was feeling pretty okay after that. What it really was I remembered that I had that hourglass and a couple of other sirens in my back pocket. So I was going to do something I had been talking with Zoe about before the race, which was I was going to go down to the bottom of Cave Bahamut and take the Gold Dragon fight there before going down and chasing the hook. And, well, I get down to the bottom floor of Cave Bahamut, and we all saw how that story went.
And we found something that was even shinier and very definitely required and worked out completely in your favor.
Yeah, honestly, if that had been any regular item other than the Avenger, I'm not sure I make my time back from that wipe.
Yeah, we were kind of comparing it because it was about at that time both of you found your big swords. Apexcorvid did pull up an Excalibur in a lower Babel chest right about the same time he pulled out that Avenger, and we're like, yeah, that Avenger just actually, and we saw it especially like in that alt gauntlet where it took a little bit of extra time on Apex's and just like Kane's just chewing through everything with that Avenger, and yeah, the time it made you up. Even considering that extended amount of time you took on Plague, it cannot be denied on how much it just helped you make up so much time.
Aha, came your burr.
Yep. And really, the only other thing I would really ask right now is, you are now 3-1. You are one win or tie away from brackets here. How are you feeling? Any matchups you want? Any matchups you want to avoid? That kind of thing. just thoughts of being on the precipice of making it into the brackets.
Oh gosh. Yeah. Frankly, I didn't think I'd make it this far. I don't know the results of the which match am I thinking of? The Dusty Griff Poorly Drawn Bees match, but I want to fight neither of them.
I mean, felt as somebody who has experienced Dusty Griff already. I mean, no, actually, I wanted that one just because I just wanted to trade blows with him. But yeah, that's definitely two people you definitely don't want to see if you're looking for a win there. We are obviously not spoiling that race here because they did raid us, I believe, here, and honestly, I want to catch back half of that bot I missed as well. So yeah, will be something to look forward to. But I mean, you're up there right now with them.
Yeah, so honestly, like, I've been telling people coming into this, my goal for the tournament is to do all right in Swiss and then scrub out immediately once I hit brackets. And you know, I'm well on my way to that.
Well, I mean, just kind of follow that and just throw out an upset or two when you hit brackets there. That's fine, right?
Yeah, you know, you just got to keep going. At the end of the day, you know, do your best, have fun.
Yep. All right, I think that's all I had for you. Again, congratulations on the win. Look forward to seeing you next week and future in the tournament here. Again, very good game played.
Thank you, and thank you to the entire Restream crew tonight. Y'all do the real work.
I'm just happy I got to commentate a second victory of yours in this tournament, Leggy. I'm starting to enjoy this combination. And I believe we are now also joined, I think Apex is with us as well.
How y'all doing?
Hey, GG Apex, very well run race. Didn't come out on the winner's side tonight, but still, you played a phenomenal race. You cleared so much of the seed, just not necessarily the things you might have wanted to find.
Yeah, I made the decision to fade the moon, and I got a lot of checks. I just couldn't find that dang plague or the adamant there. So it was a lot of legwork, pardon the pun, for nothing.
Yeah, we noticed you were checking a lot of trap chests and things like that. Eventually, you did find an Excalibur. You know, the Staleman chest, the hair dryers up on the moon. You know, the lower Babel chest. Was all that basically the hunt for a Cecil sword?
Really, at that point, I didn't have any way of doing any sort of damage to enemies. We were doing 500 to 1,000 on just about everything. So I needed a way to, you know, speed up some of these fights.
Makes perfect sense. When you were getting through, you know, getting to the underworld and starting to do some of your first checks, and you got that package, and you kind of ran out of things other than basically Feymarch or Moon, were you kind of concerned at like the key item distribution? Did you have kind of a thought as to, well, I want to go Feymarch, I want to go Moon? We obviously saw you go Feymarch, but kind of take us through your mindset. Like, was it a 60-40 decision? Was it like an 80-20? You know, where did you kind of stand on that routing choice at that time?
Well, I already knew what the Feymarch bosses were, and at that point, they didn't really concern me. I had those sirens from the moon as well, so there wasn't really anything up there that I had information on that I wanted to act on. So I decided to just double down on the play to fade the moon as much as possible and try and get everything done on Earth. And this time didn't quite work out.
Yeah, absolutely. I know that's something that's been successful for you in prior races. I do know that you have still, I believe, the second fastest overall time in any race in the tournament so far. And that included being the hero of the people by using a carrot to summon the large chocobo in the forest. So these things will live on in legend and in lore, regardless of result.
I'll be sure I commission a tapestry once we're done here.
Well, that's the questions I got for you, Apex. It's always fantastic to watch you run. Always enjoy watching your streams as well. You're a great runner and a great guy. So thank you for letting us watch you race tonight. And I'll turn it over to Night if he has any further questions for you.
One kind of mirroring the other there. I mean, you saw the party just as much as we did. I mean, Double Sid, Cecil, Kane, Edward. No magic inside. I don't think either of us saw any twins, Rosa, Rydia, anything like that, other than that magic food that appeared in Dwarf. What's going through your head there before you see anybody like that? It's just like, where's the Bacchus wine?
I was about to go buy all the Bacchus wine I could carry and just clog up that queue for the Z fight because we didn't have any silk web. Well, I didn't. I can't speak for Leggy. We didn't have any silk webs, so it was going to be a faster than I would like Z fight if we didn't have a way to slow it down there. That foo was perfectly timed.
Yeah. And honestly, really besides that, possibly get most of it there. The one thing is, I mean, you are down to 2-2 here, still definitely alive in this tournament here. At this point, kind of what are you feeling? I mean, it's back against the wall here. Is there anybody you just really don't want to see? Because I've been looking through that tournament list here, and there is a lot of scary matchups at both the 2-2 and 3-1 areas here.
At this point, there isn't really a safe zone.
All right, and
I think as far as avoided matches, there's some people I would love to face off with because I love their stream. Not necessarily because I think I got a shot at beating them or anything, but I've got some friends in the community. I won't call anyone out here, but I've definitely got people that I would love to go up against just for the fun aspect of it.
Absolutely, and that's why I love this community period to begin with there. But yeah, it's just something that no matter who wins, we can be happy for each other, and I do love that there. Do you have any other last thoughts about the seed or anything else here?
But really, just thank you to everyone that puts this on. A lot of work goes into it. It's a great show. I love watching them more than I love playing them. So thank you to the commentators, to the restream team, to the trackers, and the people that make it all work behind the scenes. Calm Lamity, Scarlet Kitty, and probably 100 other people. So thank you to all of you. GG to leggystarscream. I'm going to be your biggest fan from the here on out. And let's see what next week brings.
Absolutely. Thank you very much. Good race, and we look forward to seeing more of you here. Honestly, I look forward to seeing you fight for brackets here still at this point. So, yep. But yeah, again, good game, and the rando just didn't work out for you this time. And trust me, I know that feeling there. So, definitely look forward to seeing future weeks here.
Yeah, well, GG again, Apex. Pleasure to be able to cast one of your races, and like Naidu said, we definitely look forward to seeing you fight for brackets. We are going to be raiding over to Free Enterprise now that we are upon our completion here. Looks like the Rex banner versus Endoto race. That is an elimination match, I believe. So kind of a win or, I guess, tie or go home scenario. Going to be very fun to watch that one. We'll see who comes out on top. But again, we are kind of done here on Random Mania 3 for the apexcorvid and leggystarscream match. Again, Leggy moving to 3-1, just one match away from making brackets.
Yep, and again, a quick, before we jump over there, a quick thank you to our restreamer Neobari, our tracker Antheo, again, and every last part of our staff who can't do this commentary or playing without you. Thank you all here.
Yes, thank you very much, and make sure to give our runners, leggystarscream and apexcorvid, a follow. They did all the real hard work, honestly. Neobari behind the scenes, and Entheo pressing all the buttons. And special thank you, Night Dew, as well. It was a blast getting to do this with you, and
Yeah,
I
absolutely.
definitely hope we can again sometime.
Yep. There's a lot of free enterprise left here, so definitely looking forward to any and all commentary. But yeah, definitely, it was a blast doing it with you here, and again, hope to sooner rather than later.
Yeah, definitely. Well, again, friends, it has been fantastic. Let's go ahead and get y'all over to that free enterprise race between Rex Banner and Endoto. Thank you again, y'all. Remember, no spoilers. There's a ton of free enterprise that is happening. As far as other matchups that y'all may be looking at, it looks like we have a lot of different matchups coming up tomorrow as well. So we're looking at probably 10 or 12 different matches, some really high profile ones, and also some elimination matches. So there is tons of free enterprise happening over the next few days. So if you are a free enterprise fan, this is the best time of the year.
Yep. There's the raid. So again, have fun, everybody, and there will be plenty more free enterprise to come.